I told my wife's friend she's a horrible teacher without ever seeing her in a classroom. My wife's friend Kelly was supposed to watch fireworks with us tonight, but she just texted saying she's not coming because I'm a nasty person who encourages my child to be disrespectful. Now my wife Sarah is mad at me too, but honestly, I think Kelly had it coming. So Kelly came over for dinner last week. She's a third grade teacher and complains about her job constantly. Every time she comes over, it's the same thing. Parents are impossible, kids don't listen, administration doesn't support her, everyone has opinions about curriculum. I usually just nod and try to change the subject. But this time, she started talking about her lesson plans for February and Black History Month. She was making some fact sheet about Martin Luther King Jr. for her students. Pretty standard stuff. Our son Jake, who's 10 and obsessed with Star Trek, gets all excited and says she should include the fact that Martin Luther King was a huge Star Trek fan. Kid knows everything about that show and loves sharing random facts about it. Kelly gets this really condescending look on her face and says in the most patronizing voice possible, "Well, sweetie, maybe he would have been a fan if he'd still been alive when it came out." Jake looks confused and says, "But he was alive. He used to watch it with his daughters all the time." Kelly laughs like he's being cute and says, "No, honey, Martin Luther King died before Star Trek even aired. You're thinking of something else." Now Jake's getting upset because he knows he's right, and I can see him starting to doubt himself. So I step in and tell Kelly that actually, Jake is correct. Martin Luther King was definitely alive when Star Trek started and was a big supporter of the show. That's when Kelly turns to me with this smug teacher voice and goes, "This is exactly what I'm talking about. Parents who can't admit when their child is wrong just make my job harder." I lost it. I told her, "You're a perfect example of a teacher who thinks she knows everything and can't connect with students because you don't respect them enough to listen." Sarah immediately jumps in, trying to change the subject, talking about dessert and asking if anyone wants coffee. The whole dinner gets super awkward after that, but I couldn't let it go. After we finished eating, I pulled up this YouTube video of Nichelle Nichols, who played Uhura, talking about how Martin Luther King convinced her to stay on Star Trek because representation mattered. The video clearly shows they knew each other and that he watched the show. I showed it to everyone at the table. Kelly watches the whole thing with her arms crossed, then asks why I couldn't just let the topic drop. I said I didn't want my son thinking he was wrong for sharing facts about something he's passionate about. That's when Kelly says, "You don't know what it's like being a teacher." And I said, "You're right, I don't, but I know you're a bad one." She gets all defensive and goes, "You've never even seen me in my classroom." I looked right at her and said, "I don't need to see you in a classroom to know how you treat people. You're the same person everywhere you go." Kelly grabbed her purse and left without saying goodbye. Now Sarah's saying I'm an asshole for bringing the topic back up after she tried to move on. She thinks I should have just shown Jake the video later and taught him about giving people grace. But I think it's important that Jake knows we'll always have his back when he's right.